Hello, it's Katherine here. You've got me today. How are you doing? This coronavirus is really changing our world, isn't it? And the uniqueness, I guess, of this situation is that we're all facing the same thing together, even though we're all apart. The physical distance we're experiencing can be a great challenge, and for some more than others. Two things that I've been reflecting upon this last week have been hope and time. And two questions that I've been mulling over the answers to. How do people have hope in a time of uncertainty? And how can we use this time wisely or well? I think we can easily become consumed by hearing anyone and everyone's opinion of what to do and how to think in this coronavirus crisis. And yet in Psalm 62 verse 5, the psalmist writes, "For God alone my soul waits in silence, for my hope is with him." Now, for many of us, and me included, silence is merely the act of not speaking. But for the Desert Fathers, a collection of 3rd century monks, indicated that silence was about listening and listening to God. In our prayers, are we speaking more or listening more? And what can be found in a listening prayer? Well, if you continue to read that psalm, the psalmist will tell you that it's hope and rest. And the word in that psalm for hope means cord or rope. And as we listen to God, we find that he is throwing us a rope of hope to pull us into the future. And if we embrace this stepping into silence with God, we will know our confidence of tomorrow's reality, and we will take hold of hope. But certainly in a culture which is accustomed to running at 100 miles an hour all day, every day, I think the very idea of staying indoors for weeks or even months on end with the limited interaction with those around us can be daunting, to say the least. If you are working from home, it's good to have a plan. Plan your day and what time it will begin. But remember to take some breaks in it and make sure that you have an ending to your day's work and you don't keep nipping back to the computer. And it's important too, they keep telling us, don't they, and it is right, that we build some recreation time into our day, whether it's exercise or whether it's even just popping outside to get some fresh air, just to try and bring some order to what might feel like a little time of chaos. Try and remember that God is in control. He is the creator of everything which exists. There is nothing which escapes him. Not a drop of rain falls, nor a blade of grass buds without him knowing it. His power and knowledge knows no limit. But remember too that the very nature of God is love, and love always seeks the good of the other. In Romans chapter 8, verse 28, the Apostle Paul writes, "All things work together for the good of those who love God." If you tuned in, I think it was last Saturday, you'll have heard Darren sharing the beautiful poem Footprints with us and reflecting upon how at our most important and challenging times, when we feel most alone, it's then that there is one set of footprints as we are being carried. Think for a minute of what we have already come through over these past weeks. The 40-day season called Lent, we have worked our way through there, a period spanning from Ash Wednesday to Easter. It seems so long ago now that we were together as a circuit for our Ash Wednesday service. And there are other periods of 40 days or years that appear in the Bible. 40 days and 40 nights that rain fell, flooding the earth while Noah, his family and many animals took refuge on the ark. No opportunity for social distancing there. And the 40 years that the Israelites spent in the wilderness after fleeing from Egypt. The 40 days that Jesus spent in the desert being tempted by Satan. all periods of uncertainty, which in a way we can relate to during this year's season of COVID-19, which plagues us with fear and anxiety. In each of these accounts, these stories also give us hope in the way that each group made it through. Hope in the way that the Israelites leaned on each other as a community, something that we've been invited to do as we learn to love each other well from a distance. Hope in Jesus, whose beginning of ministry was marked by a time of trial and isolation. And we're also in a season of physical distancing and self-quarantine, and it offers challenges that differ depending on our situations. New ways of working and communicating and homeschooling children, or loneliness from not physically being with others, or practicing patience while spending more time than usual in small spaces with family. This season also offers us new opportunities to embrace this gift of time, but many of us, although not all, have been given, and finding ways to embrace community. I have been amazed by the opportunities via Zoom and other media to come together with colleagues and friends. I've enjoyed learning about the creative ways that people are using this virtual gathering for studies and story times, and even sharing coffee and company. I've seen more people taking walks, embracing new hobbies that involve creativity, writing letters on paper to loved ones. I knew that would make a comeback one day. Always to connect with something greater. I've also been encouraged by the way those in our faith communities are sharing hope. Yesterday, Denise spoke about leaving encouraging messages written on tags on tree branches and bushes. What a brilliant idea. And even seeing those rainbows in the windows if you're out for a walk. I hope you are remembering to take care of yourself, body and soul, and to keep in touch with those who are important to you. And try not to feel too anxious over the current crisis, whichever your news network of preference happens to be. Church may be closed, but the work of the church has never been more imaginative or out there, loving and serving God and our neighbours. Be intentional about emailing and messaging and writing or ringing friends and loved ones. And even share a prayer in your conversations together, whether it's a written one or a spoken one, or just sharing silence together. You know, while the church buildings are closed, let's encourage one another to godliness as much as we're able. And remember, God is love and beauty and truth and freedom itself. And God is the one power that gives us the courage to be signs of hope and love for those around us. So perhaps the best use of time right now is, as Jesus said, to love one another and practice giving and receiving love too. So take care and stay safe and lots of love, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye now.